Ledge, like, I was buzzing off at me. I was probably get the rave on.
Check 1 2 on the mic.
Ledge, like.
Hello and welcome to the Roker Rapport podcast. I am your host Bromley, and today we have, well, the plan's wrong. I have two people joining me. It's actually just one. It's me and Paddy. It's a date essentially.
It is. It's going to be lovely.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. We did have an elaborate plan to sing Football's Coming Home. The issue is that the sound was coming from the computer onto the microphone, and I think we aren't quite comfortable enough as singers to go without some sort of backing track on the thingy, but then on the mic we were hoping it wouldn't have the backing track.
Yeah, I mean, it would have probably sounded nice and, pure, but also there's the whole copyright thing. We don't want to get ourselves or anybody else in trouble.
Yeah, it's exactly
unfortunately.
So we already had a warning off YouTube the other day.
Really?
For copyright for one of Sean's wacky starts. So
they are very good starts, though.
They are good starts. I like it. The music interchanges with the radio changing. It's quite nice.
It does sound really good.
So it was meant to be Chris Cam was meant to be coming in, Alex McCain, the McCain train was meant to be coming in, but they bailed. So it's me and Paddy, me and the Padster. Obviously you're not actually English because you're ginger and you're called Paddy. So are you reeling from yesterday's result?
I mean, because I'm 100% English, I'm really happy about the result, to be fair.
You're not Irish. Still not going with your Irish.
No, I'm
Sounds like a bit of a glory seeker here, Paddy.
Not Irish whatsoever.
No Irish?
No.
So no. Paddy, is Hollis an Irish name? I'm going to Google it.
You can do it.
Surname.
I don't actually know, to be honest. I've never looked at
Hollis. I will see. Right. Where's it from? Oh, Anglo-Saxon. Alright, I'll let you off. Tribes of Britain. Well, Britain probably includes Ireland, so...
I mean, it might have back then.
Yeah, so...
I'd have been gutted if it was actually
Is there
Irish
any famous Hollises? Is there any Hollises that are Irish?
Any famous?
Nah, there's not. Hollis
No.
Thompson's a professional basketball player. That's fun. Oh, well. Oh, I'll let you off then, you're half Irish.
Still get half, okay.
Yeah, still a little bit of Irish in there, which is fine. Niall Quinn's Irish.
He is, yeah.
Roy Keane's Irish.
Yeah.
Kevin Kilbane.
All good lads.
John O'Shea.
Yeah. List goes on.
Seamus Coleman. See how many Irish footballers I can just reel off going for it. So, yeah, we're going to do two parts today. First bit's going to cover mainly the England game yesterday, talk maybe a little bit else about the World Cup. I don't know how much you've been watching, Paddy.
Yeah, I've been watching just as much as I can.
Dabbing in and out.
Yeah.
Dabbing in and out. Fair. I saw every game from round one.
Yeah. I missed the first couple of games, but then I saw 6 or 7 in a row, and it's been like that. So I've missing 2, watching 5 or 6, so it hasn't been too bad really.
I missed all the games after England yesterday, but I bet you most people did.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of the Colombia game, the end of it. I think I finished 3-0, didn't it?
Yeah, it was in the end. I was surprised about Poland.
I know.
I've been really surprised about them.
Stinky them. Yeah. But I saw the thing about Lewandowski and that he kind of score on the big occasions or something. His record against the shit teams is good, and his record against the good teams is bad. So
he always bangs them in qualifying, doesn't he? Because look at who they're playing against.
Yeah. And Poland are one of them where they use the system to get themselves higher in the rankings. So 8th in the world or something.
Yeah.
They're nowhere near 8th.
No.
So.
But it's the whole FIFA ranking thing. It's just
broken.
Yeah.
Okay, so second part we're going to talk a canny bit about Sunderland. I've also got a surprise section in there which I'm not going to tell Paddy about.
Ooh.
Yeah, so look forward
Very
to that.
exciting.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I wouldn't be. So yesterday, did we all watch? Well, we all. Did me and you? Did you watch the game?
We did.
Where'd you watch it?
I did. Just in the house because I had work. So
oh, did you? What time?
I work at 6, so couldn't really go out.
Couldn't go heavy.
No.
Fair.
Just in the house watching it, but it was
just by yourself. Anyone with you?
No, it was my dad was there.
So wearing an island top.
He wasn't. No, neither of us were. We don't own anything with Irish on, so we wouldn't have been.
There's your
that.
secret Roker Report, secret Santa sword. So yeah, So what was your feelings at half time?
At half time, I thought that it was well deserved. Really, I was actually really pleased that we smashed them in the end because of the way they were going about. Like, with the fouls and just the rolling around on the floor and everything. It was just, if we'd only won 1 or 2-0, I would have been a bit disappointed. I was just really thinking, like, I hope we just go out and smash them now, and obviously we did. So half time it was great, really, because 5-0 up, just smashing it.
For me, like 5-0 up at half time, this happens all the time in football. Teams are 4-5 up at half time and they never ever win 10-0.
They never go and double it, do they?
And I was really hoping that we would keep it going in the second half. I know you've got to slow down. You don't want Harry Kane to be playing the full game, and he could pick up an injury and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know. I just was disappointed in the second half, especially that they conceded as well. Like, I really wanted them to go out there and just pummel them.
Yeah.
And I know they've got to take the foot off the gas in some senses, but it would have been nice to see that ruthlessness.
Yeah, it was quite a sloppy goal to concede as well.
It was a bad goal, wasn't it?
From the free kick and then just basically playing their lad on side.
Aye, wasn't ideal. So either way, they'll go through the goals. First goal, John Stones' header, for me, beautiful.
Yeah, it was proper centre half header and
well worked.
Yeah, and it was just great because, like, you see, there was their lad like wrestling with was it Kane, I think?
Kane and then Maguire, obviously, I think it was.
Stones comes in, just nobody around, and then just, I know it wasn't marked, but it was still good to like get it.
What I liked about it was when the ball came in, I can't remember who it was. Somebody went for like a sort of front post header, took Torres with him, and then Stones just sweeps in behind and heads it in.
Yeah, sort of like cleared the space off for Stones to come in.
It was quite like I would almost say like an NFL play where the sort of, it's structured, it's planned. They run there to block him, he blocks there, and then he gets the gap.
Yeah, it's just like you can see what's going to happen just before it happens, and then it does.
Second goal was from penalty, so I think Lingard got in one-on-one and was brought down.
He was brought down, was it not Sterling?
No,
it was Lingard. Yeah, because I remember Lingard got a bit of a rough time in the first half, didn't he? Like, he was on the end of a few rough challenges, and tell you what, Kane's 2 penalties were just fantastic.
Hey, we'll talk about the first one. There's an order here. We'll go through the goals. Don't jump ahead. Don't jump ahead here.
Just getting excited.
Yeah, getting a bit ahead. Ahead of yourself.
The penalty was just, you got like the keeper and I think it was their captain, like, trying to have the words to put him off, and just,
that was dirty tactics. That wasn't it?
But there was just no danger of him missing that, to be honest.
What I liked about it is it shows how like confident he is. Like, I really didn't want him to miss. Even like the second penalty he had, I was like, I hope he doesn't miss it, because it just knocks you a little bit. But both. There's me doing it as well. No, but the first one though, it's hard not to compare them because they were the same penalty. Whack it in the top corner, and you just, no keeper in the world save that. Even if you told the keeper it's going there, he's probably not going to save it.
It's with that much power as well. Yeah, just right in the roof of the net. You're just not stopping that.
Yeah. Third goal,
Lingard's, the one from
the screamer.
Yeah, it was just such a good play. Like, I think was it Sterling laid him off?
Yeah, Sterling laid him off, and I think he played it with Young to him. Well, him to Young back. Yeah, back to Sterling.
Such a well worked goal, and then
bend just top corner.
The bend over the keeper and everything was just fantastic. As soon as you hit it, you can just see that's going in. That's just dipping in the top corner.
Fourth goal, was that John Stones' second?
Yeah, it was. That was where the keeper made that decent save. I thought he was quite unlucky there because he did well to stop it, but
I'll try to remember it. I've seen the highlights about 8 times as well.
I think Kane got the knockdown. The keeper saved it, and then Stones is there just to basically head it in from like about 3 yards out.
Another set piece goal though.
Yeah, well, it's like 5 or something at the World Cup we have now from set pieces.
Scored 2 from open play, and even Harry Kane's like hat-trick goal was a lucky one.
Nah.
You'll take them.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll take them.
Absolutely.
So, we've got John Stones there for 4. Fifth goal penalty again. It was holding, I think, in the box, wasn't it, again?
Yeah, but that's funny because they showed like a camera shot from the safe side of the halfway line, and there was about 3 of our players getting wrestled.
It's hard to know which one.
Yeah, it was actually for any of them, it could have been given a penalty.
What that shows us, though, is they're obviously all very worried about our set pieces. Like, every time we get a corner, even as fans, are like, oh, right, we've got a chance here. And I think it's underrated how good the delivery's been. Like, Trippier's corners have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
And, you know, people have been like, oh, we don't have a set piece taker. I was like, well, we fucking do, because we've got him. Might not be able to take a free kick from 25 yards and put it in, and maybe we'll do like that player, but his corners have been absolutely class. And his balls, to be honest, in open play have been class as well. I think he's been probably what, apart from the obvious Kane, I think he's probably been my star player.
Yeah, and I didn't really think he'd play that much at this World Cup, but, you know, he's played both games, and as you said, he's been superb, really. Yeah. Can't really fault him.
So we've got that. Then the 6th goal was obviously the deflection. Then they scored a goal. It was good from their perspective, a good goal from our perspective. Terribly defended. Don't want to dwell on it too much, but it was a bit upsetting to not have that clean sheet.
I mean, I think you could just tell like Pickford was fuming, but you know he wanted the clean sheet. You know he didn't have much to do. He made that. I think he made one good save early on. What was it? First half, second half? Where just like their lads come in and he's knocked it with his knee, like coming out to close him down. But yeah, I mean, he'd be disappointed, but you know,
who cares?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a pretty convincing win.
How should we? Be worried that we've played 2 games against 2 very clearly shit teams? Like with Tunisia, we got past 2-1. We saw Belgium absolutely dismantle them the next game. But I think that first game is always going to be difficult. Tunisia sat back, and England wasn't for the one to try, and they could have beat them 5-1. You know, couldn't get it in. We've now beaten Panama, but we haven't been tested, have we?
No. I mean, you say that, but I mean, you know, it's a major tournament. Like you beat who's put in front of you, and then if you just look back, I've seen a lot of people make this comparison online where if you think in South Africa we had Algeria, they sat back 0-0 draw.
We never let scoring, did we?
Exactly. Obviously Tunisia tried to do the same, but we managed to break them down, and I think that shows sort of how far we've come in the last sort of 8 years now, because we're always going to come up against these teams who, you know, it's England, we'll just try and get a point, and we just have to go and break them down. And luckily against Tunisia we did that. I mean, again against Panama, we've got an early goal, and then it's just been open the floodgates really. So I think it's not so much worrying. I think it's set us up well to play Belgium,
they
because
couldn't have done anything more.
No, exactly. Yeah,
you know, they've beat what's in front of them. I suppose if there is a worry, I think defensively they haven't looked great. I don't know if that 3 it works going forward. I don't think it necessarily works defensively, and that'll need some work.
Yeah, I think that's probably the only real worry. That, I mean, the strikers they've come up against, I've never really set the world alight. Obviously, you know, coming up against Lukaku and all their like De Bruyne and Hazard next game, it'll be a challenge. And I think we'll know after that game just how good the squad is. I think that'll be the real sort of tester. And obviously, luckily we're already through, because I would not have fancied going into that Belgium game needing something, even a point, because their first 2 games, I know they played the same teams as us, but it's just like they've just been out of this world.
They played through our first half against Panama, but the 3 halves since then have been really, really good. I think with Belgium as well, it's they're just on paper just are so frightening. But I think defensively they're not great. You know, they've been playing Carrasco in sort of a full-back winger sort of position, and he just kind of defend to save his life, whereas at least we've actually got 2 full-backs that can. Interesting to see if Danny Rose got some game time. Will he be slotting in at left back going forward? I'm not sure. Danny Rose is obviously the better player than Ashley Young, but you know, you're not sure Matt Sharpless. I think Young's done well. I would say it was harsh to drop him.
Yeah, I mean, he's, you know, I was quite surprised, and I thought it would be like would have Rose in at left back, but yeah, I don't think Young's done much wrong. And I guess it shows it's quite good that we have 2, you know, pretty good left backs. So, you know, it's all about having the good depth in the squad, and I think this squad we got out in Russia, it's looking pretty good, and it just needs to get tested properly now.
Yeah, and I suppose we've got a free swing, haven't we? You know, the Belgium game doesn't mean anything. I mean, that might also mean both teams might make changes. Obviously, finishing that debate, should they finish first or second, what would be better? I always think win your group, do what you can, win your games.
Yeah. Well, it's momentum, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if we win all 3 of our group games, we're going to be going into, you know, whoever, you know, if it's Senegal or whoever in the last 16, we're going to, if you can go into there with 3 9 points from your group, then you're going to be flying.
And they're going to be worried about it as well. I mean, if you're playing the runner-up, whether or not you think they're good, bad, it doesn't matter. The fact is you're playing well, and they obviously aren't maybe playing as well as what you are.
Yeah.
So I think it doesn't really make a difference. People are like eyeing up later in the tournament as well, what side you're going to fall on. But do you know what? Germany, the people are worrying about. People are worrying about Brazil. They've not been playing very well.
No,
and how are you going to avoid, to avoid them in the last 16, the quarters? It's like, you're in the quarters, man. You're not going to avoid playing the big teams. It doesn't make a difference who. Just beat what you've got to beat. And would you rather have that tag of, they got the final, they didn't beat anyone though? Like, no, you want to do it properly. I want to beat Germany. I think beating Germany for us would be like slaying our dragon. Yeah. And from there, we could win it. Especially if it was like on penalties or something.
Yeah, just really sort of like put everything right from past.
I just don't understand maybe we should lose the next game. No, win it. Finish top of the group.
Yeah. You're a football team. Like you don't want to lose. You shouldn't want to lose games in any format, whether it's a friendly against Canada or World Cup quarter final.
Yeah, you've got to try and win them.
Just go out and win the game.
And it's good as well. 'Cause if Southgate did decide, I don't think he will for a million years, but if they did decide, like what some fans want, we'll play a lesser team and we'll lose against Belgium, then does everyone's so happy at the minute? We're all pulling behind the team, and I think we'd all just be a bit flat and a bit annoyed.
And also, like, it'll be bad for those players coming in, because obviously they've been drafted in. It's great, here's our chance. If they get thumped, say if it is 3 or 4-0, and they drop back to the bench, they're going to think, it doesn't matter how well we do as a country. Like the input we've had, it's just going to be negative for them, isn't it? We played that one game where we got smashed, but like nobody really cared about it because we were already through, and that's why we got played. It can't be like great for sort of some of the more like sort of fringe players in the squad. So we shouldn't do that. We should just go with our strongest team and try and beat them. Really,
it's a good exercise as well, because Belgium are going to be as good as anybody else you play.
Yeah,
and Belgium, I'd be upset if both teams make a few changes. I'd be upset if, say, we didn't play Kane and they didn't play Hazard or something.
But I think it's like it's the best players in like the biggest tournament in the world. You
want to see them.
You want them to be playing and scoring goals, and if Lukaku scores an absolute worldie, or Hazard, or you just got to say, like, obviously I'm not chuffed now because it's against England, but if it's a good goal and a good play, you just got to say, like, fair enough. You're one of the best players in the world, and you're strutting your stuff at the World Cup, so it's great, really.
What do we think of the overall quality of the World Cup? Because I did a video for Roker Rapport TV. I was just talking about the fact that a lot of the bigger nations just have been a wee bit underwhelming. Like, there's a few that have done what you'd expect. I think England would fall in that category. I think Belgium would also fall in that category. And then I think after that, you're looking around, and I think Spain, I suppose, got 4 points in the drew with Portugal 3-3. It's hard to judge them too much, but none of the big teams have really done a performance where you'd be like, they're
going to win it.
Yeah.
I know, because I agree with you. I don't think the quality has been that good, but in a way, I think that's quite good, because it's given us a chance to see. I've really enjoyed watching Croatia play, because them against, I know Argentina weren't great, but they dismantled Argentina, and it was just great to watch. Like,
they've got a strong spine though, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
Well, that's basically just a midfield core. If you've got two of the best central midfielders in the world, you're always going to be good.
Modric, Rakitic, and Perisic in there as well. It's out this world. And then even like Iceland as well, and watching them against Nigeria, they were just when we played in that friendly, I thought these are nothing special. Then watch them when they played Iceland, they were fantastic. So I think it is, on one hand, it is disappointing that the bigger teams haven't really shown up yet. But
from an England perspective, it's surely good.
It's great, yeah. Seeing, even obviously Germany beat Sweden, but Sweden were really.
That was a hell of a game.
Yeah, it wasn't
good game to watch.
Former Mackem Ola Toivonen scoring an absolute worldie.
Screamer. Well, not screamer, but a lovely goal.
Just lobbing Manuel Neuer.
Easy.
It was such a good goal, and you say it, and it's just, I didn't realise it was actually him who'd scored it until it went in.
There's no way that's Toivonen. I can't even remember. Did he even score for Sunderland?
Nah, he didn't. But
he set one up against Villa, I recall.
He never played up front. I'm sure he always played midfield for us. I can't remember him playing up top. Because when I saw him,
he often used to come on off the bench.
He didn't play him much, did he?
He played. Well, I think he was drafted in to be sort of a calm striker. I don't think he ever played in like central midfield, but I think he often played behind
the striker
or with Defoe, but not quite with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember. He didn't play that much forward. After January, he barely played.
Yeah. Honestly, just like I recognise his name, but when I think of him, I can't think of anything of what he did for us.
There's one thing I can think of, and he set up a goal for Defoe when we beat Villa 3-1 home in the last minute of the game.
Yeah,
I think it was a throw-in or something, and he played it across, and Defoe put it in open net.
It's probably the only thing what he did, really.
Yeah, that's all I can remember, and I could be even wrong on the details. Toivonen might have even scored, and Defoe set it up. I can't even remember. So yeah, that's the throwback anyway. Yeah. So for the England game, we all finished. You got everything you want to say about that? Actually, one little one.
Yeah.
Sterling. Yeah, nay. Is he playing the next? Is he starting for you going forward? Didn't think he had a great game yesterday. I think he got 1 assist.
No, I think I'm surprised to see him playing up with Kane.
Yeah, it's a weird system, isn't it?
But then it's like, I mean, other strikers we've got, was it Welbeck and Vardy?
Yeah, Vardy didn't look great when he came on yesterday.
See, I don't think I'd like to see us play Vardy and Kane up top just to see what it would be like. But I just don't think Vardy's really got it in him to finish.
I think Vardy could. If you weren't as good a quality as what the England team had, and Vardy was the striker you had, say if Scotland qualified for the World Cup and Vardy was Scottish, he would be perfect for that sort of team. I just don't know for England, especially since we're so far we've been dominant on the ball, haven't really been counter-attacking too much.
Vardy's the sort of player where he'll do a lot of running, won't he? Like tracking back, tracking forward. But as you said, we haven't that.
He's a counter-attacker, essentially.
He hasn't had to do that in this tournament because, as you said, we've just, we haven't like been hit on the break by any teams, and we haven't even looked. 95% of the time, we've looked really comfortable on the ball, no matter where we are on the pitch. So, yeah, I think he'll get a bit more of a chance, I think. But I'd like to see Sterling keep playing because I
rate him.
Yeah, I think he's had a fantastic season with Man City, and he deserves to be starting for England.
I think he fits better than what Rashford would, because Rashford isn't quite good at interlinking the play. He's not as I suppose he's not as polished in that department, whereas Rashford will go beyond. I think Rashford and Vardy are both good substitution options. Back onto Vardy though, can you ever think of him scoring the sort of goals where Kane scored against Tunisia?
Proper goal poacher ones.
Yeah, he doesn't score them, does he? His goals are one-on-one. He probably gets more one-on-ones than any other player in the last 10 years, like especially in this day and age where you don't actually see that many one-on-ones. He is that player who can get in one-on-one.
He has that turn of pace, doesn't he? And it's just taking away from the defender, and
so it's interesting to think for him. I just don't know if Kane got injured, I would just be worried going with Vardy, because we'd have to totally change the way we were playing. It would probably make more sense for it to line up like 4-5-1 or 4-4-2 or something, and have Vardy just trying to get in behind all the time.
Yeah,
you just have to change the way you play. I mean, I suppose that's what happens when you've got a world-class striker. You do have to change the way you play if they get injured.
Yeah,
you're never gonna have two. You're very lucky.
Yeah, I mean, it's just great that Kane's been able to carry on his. Obviously, he's been great for Spurs, and now first World Cup, and he's boxing it really. Yeah,
and he had a poor Euros. People forget.
Yeah,
so that's big for him. That obviously shows that he learnt. Often, I think the quote-unquote golden generation, criticism of them is that they never seem to learn from their mistakes. Whereas Kane quite clearly is learnt from his previous experience. And he looks, I don't know,
he looks the part for like the leader, the centre forward who's gonna, he might do nothing for 75 minutes, but then like against Tunisia, he'll be there
to score
in injury time. Just to, he's got in a position where he's got no defenders around him, and he's just there to just do the job and put it in the back of the net.
You kind of train it, can you? No. You kind of train that
it's instinct, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's how players like Kevin Phillips, brilliant footballer, obviously, but what he really had was that ability, which is why he played in his 40s. It's just to be in the right place at the right time. That's not age, that's nothing else. It's just knowing somehow where the ball's going to end up in the box, and that's like, you you kind of train it, and they probably kind of put their finger on why. They just know where to be there.
It's like you can, if you can get like 2 or 3 yards on any defender, it doesn't really matter about your age, does it?
Yeah.
You're going to be there before they realise, and if you can just keep on doing that, then you're sorted, really.
Yeah, it's almost like watching when you're a kid and you play with like your dad's friends, and you're like 10.
Yeah.
And they always just seem to be in the right place, and you kind of get off them. It's like watching Harry Kane, sort of like that, where you just, no matter what, you just kind of seem to maul them.
It's like he makes himself space.
Yeah,
in like the smallest.
You just don't know how.
Yeah,
it's funny, and it's funny as well. When I play football, I always think like I play 5-a-side and stuff, and I can never ever not be marked.
Yeah,
and yet there's other players who do just find a way.
Always manage to
manage to not be marked. And I'm just like, how come I can't do that? And I'll try running around. The person's following us, and I was like, following us like fucking Pikachu, and I'm like, well, what am I meant to do? So I think we're all finished there on the England side of stuff. We're ready to jump into some Sunderland. We're hey, Red and White Army. Stewie, Donald's.
How are the lads?
Team, all that jazz. So, we're going to start this section with something a wee bit different, something we haven't ever done before. It's groundbreaking, Paddy.
Is this what I should have been scared for?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, basically, you've got no idea what's going to happen.
Right.
And we're going to have a small 5-question quiz.
Right.
All things Sunderland related.
Alright.
Obviously, there's just you here, so you don't have to worry about writing it down. It's just really a case of...
I can't confer, obviously.
Yeah, you just have to shout it out. So, if there is a clue, I can probably give you a clue on every question.
Okay.
So, number 1, it kind of goes seasonal, so... Yeah, you'll get the theme. It's only since 20... The first question's based from around 10.
Alright.
So, it's all pretty modern.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, there's one question that isn't modern, but that'll be fine. So, number 1, who knocked Sunderland out the League Cup in 09-10?
09-10. Was it Middlesbrough?
Nah. Cogs are turning here. The team did make it to the final. Who beat her?
Were they in the Premier League?
Yeah.
Villa. Was on. I was there as well. It was on penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the score? In 90 minutes?
It was 0-0 after 90 minutes. Then
and Villa
went to penalties, yeah.
Villa won 3-1.
Yeah, because I remember that Brad Guzan saved about 4 penalties.
You think he saved one in normal time?
Yeah, he did, yeah. Yeah,
I think Richardson also missed a couple of sets.
Yeah, because Paulo De Silva, it was at one of his only starts.
Yeah.
It was just like, you could tell we weren't taking it seriously when he was playing.
We played really well. I remember coming away from that, because Villa used to always hammer it up. They beat with 2-0 in the league a few weeks later.
Yeah.
And I always remember that night they had free travel and they had like a full end.
Yeah.
We played them midweek, maybe a month later, and they had like 200 people there.
Yeah.
It always just makes us laugh. Oh well, you did well there.
Yeah.
On the second one. Why are we thinking Borough? Are we thinking them FA Cup games we've played?
No, because they did knock us out the League Cup at home, but it must have been the season before the season after.
Borough. Borough's knocked out the FA Cup and the League Cup.
I'm sure they've knocked us out the League Cup within the last sort of 10-15 years at home. I know there was the FA Cup ones, but I'm sure there was a League Cup one as well.
Google it. Sunderland vs Borough. Somebody's probably shouting, "It was then! It was then!" League Cup. I'd see what comes up. It's just coming up with FA Cup games.
Oh.
I think I'm wrong there, like Paddy said.
Yeah, I must just been thinking of the FA Cup ones.
There's a YouTube video here, but I can't click it because obviously it'll come through here.
No worries.
Wait, record v Middlesbrough 11v11. Does that tell you? Oh fucking hell, yes.
I love that one. It's just chock a block of stats.
I can confirm we have not played Borough in the League Cup since 1997. Were you thinking of that one? Were you like born?
I'll have been about 6 months old, so I probably wouldn't have had too much knowledge of the League Cup.
We got beat 2-0 away. So.
Yeah, it must have been the FA Cup ones I was thinking about them.
Aye. We did play them twice in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Okay, question 2. In the 2012-13 season, we had just one goal scorer heading into our 10th game of the season. Who was our second scorer that year?
Was it Adam Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who do you know we were playing against? And what the score was. I've got that written down as well. I mean, you've got your main point here. This is for a bonus.
Yeah. Was it at home?
Nah.
Away at Liverpool?
Oh, close. Everton.
Oh.
Got beat 2-1.
Yeah.
I think we took the lead. Do you know what other goal scorer was? Until that point, he scored like 5 goals.
Stephen Fletcher.
Yeah, Fletcher.
Yeah.
More of that goal was an own goal by Denver Bar against Newcastle.
Yeah.
1-1. Alright, you did well. You got Johnson straight away.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not normally actually meant to say his name on the podcast, like, so shit happens. Okay, how many competitive home games did we play in the 2013-14 season?
Well, I've been 19 in the league.
Very good. Good start.
5 in the League Cup.
Correct.
And was it 2 in the FA Cup? 3.
3.
Yeah,
27. That was the number, 27.
Yeah, cause that was when like we do one in the League Cup, then all of a sudden we do one in the FA Cup.
Yeah,
like, we got the quarterfinals. Like
we should have played that reserve team against Hull.
How have we done so well in both cup competitions?
Well, we've just got good draws. Home well, I had hard draws, but home games.
I think we beat Southampton in both competitions, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We knocked their season up when Pochettino was still there. Okay, question 4. How many goals did Jermaine Defoe score for Sunderland in his first season we signed in January? Can you name them?
Name the goals?
Wait, guess how many and then name them.
I'd say 8.
8?
What is...
From the January? That would be class. Nah, you had a poor run, really. He was playing left wing.
Didn't he? Yeah.
He was playing like left back, left wing.
I'd say 4.
Yeah, it was 4.
4.
Who against? I can't even remember who they were against.
He got 1 at Everton.
Yeah.
The 1 against Newcastle.
Oh, aye. That was a screamer.
Yeah.
That's 2.
I can't think of any of the ones. I just remember those ones because they were like... Well, I just can't forget the Newcastle one.
I can't remember the other 2, like...
Because that was when, like, we won 2-0 at Everton, and that was when Danny Graham scored. And it was just...
it was off his arse, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just 2, like, absolutely shit goals.
Defoe scored his first goal in his home debut against Burnley. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then he scored the opening goal in the 1-1 draw away to Swansea, which I cannot remember to save my life.
I remember the Swansea one, but I couldn't remember the Burnley one.
I remember the Burnley one was just a little tapping.
Yeah.
But I can't remember Swansea. Not to save my life.
Now, that was another one of those where I went on a run of 4 or 5 games of taking the lead and then not winning them.
Aye,
but
those are the days.
Yeah, we got punished more in the Premier League than we got punished in the Championship. So
okay, last question.
Yep.
I know this is before your lifetime. So last time we were in the 3rd tier, how many points did we get? 42 game season. Take a guess.
Was it in the 70s?
No, 87, 88.
No, I mean like points.
Oh, very good. No, it's higher than that.
Oh.
Well, we won the league.
89?
93.
Oh.
Close. Won 27, drew 12, lost 7. So over 46 games a season, we maybe could have pushed to 100 points.
Yeah, there's always a season.
Yeah, we'll always have this chance. Oh well, there's a quiz. So you did pretty well, really.
Yeah, that was fun. That nice surprise.
Yeah. I think I might just occasionally just throw one of them in.
Yeah, that'd be good. Keep things interesting.
Yeah. Keeps everyone on their toes.
Keeps our Sunderland knowledge nice and polished, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, apart from me, because I just Google it. I mean, I just use Wikipedia, really.
Yeah.
Nothing too fancy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got some Twitter questions to go through. So Rapport put a tweet up. I reply with, "It's coming home. It's coming.
It is coming home. It's coming home."
There it is. There's a teaser for one.
we got it in there somewhere.
And then Rovo asked, "Is Grant Ledbetter coming home? What do we think? What do you think, Bads?"
I'd want him to be honest. I don't know. I know there was some word that he might be, but I know it might have gone a bit quiet recently. I'm not 100% sure what is going on, but if he does come back, I think he'll be very good for this level.
I think he'll be a captain. We don't have a captain. I've said this a few times.
I mean, I think I said this to you before. Like, you know, I was planning on writing something about making Honeyman captain. Then about a week later, it said that he was leaving or like he didn't want to play anymore. So, he would have been my captain for next season. But yeah, I think.
But would he have if you had Ledbetter?
No, not with Ledbetter.
Yeah, because I think at the minute, even with Honeyman there, he's not. For me, he's not an immediate candidate for captaincy. I can see why people would want to give him it, but he's not for me. Ledbetter, though, just like screams leader, guy who's going to score 5 to 10 from midfield.
Yeah.
And he, you know, putting him at this level as well, he should be killing it. So if he wants to come, I think for him, you've got to remember he's from up here. He's been here, apart from a few years at Ipswich, he's been up here pretty much his whole life.
Yeah.
The fact is, Middlesbrough don't want him anymore. If he wants to play first team football, the only option he has to stay up here is to either get paid £100 a week and play for like South Shields or Darlington or Gateshead or Blythe.
One of them, yeah.
Or you'll have to move to Sunderland. And I think that's why the deal will get done.
Yeah.
I think Grant Ledbetter wants to come back. I think Grant Ledbetter, personally, it makes sense for him. Obviously, I don't know him on a personal basis, but if I'm going to guess, everyone, whether you're rich or famous, you know, you've got a life and you don't want to move your kids out of school and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you've got to think, like, obviously, he'll have a lot of family up here, won't he? So it does seem like the perfect move for both him and us, because, to be honest, he'll walk into our midfield next season.
And it's not even a case of, you know, don't go back. Like, we're not talking about Grant Ledbetter coming back into what he was at. Like, this is a different football club now.
It is, yeah.
And he's not even been here, you know, he left in 2009.
Yeah, it's like almost 10 years is a massive amount of time in football.
Exactly. So I think Grant Ledbetter, I'd be shocked if he wasn't a Sunderland player.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen straight away, because I think there's things they need to sort out. I think Ledbetter will probably be the biggest earner that they'll bring in.
Yeah.
I think if people are looking for that big signing, I think Ledbetter's likely to be it. Whether or not people are happy with him being probably the highest paid player of the new crop. Obviously there'll be older players who we might not be able to flog, but I think Ledbetter is a goer. I honestly do.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to see him at Sunderland next season. So I hope it does get sorted soon.
Can imagine Ledbetter at like Accrington away belting in a 30-yarder.
Oh yeah, last minute winner.
Yeah. So
it's like packing that away end where it's just like it's proper like football league,
proper tin pot, tin stands, tin pot.
I love that expression so much.
Tin pot.
Just gonna hear it and use it so many times next season.
Right, we've got another question here now. I don't know how this question is going to go down for you, because I don't know what your interests are, but Jake Collison asks, due to Panama's WWE-like antics in the game for England, what would your WWE starting 11 look like? Is that question good for you or not?
I don't know much about the old wrestling.
Okay, we're going to change that then. We're going to just do how many wrestlers can you name?
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Undertaker.
Yeah. Go on, Padster. Who's Undertaker's brother?
I don't know.
You don't know Undertaker's brother?
I'm not.
Kane. The guy with the mask. You must have seen it because Harry Kane keeps scoring and people post things of him.
Yeah, I didn't know they were related though. I know obviously not they're actually related, but you know. Yeah, honestly.
People are just posting a random picture of a masked wrestler in a red mask. You're like, oh yeah, every time Harry Kane scores, he just reminds me of this 7 foot tall giant wrestler.
Yeah, but like I said,
wow, you've got some poor knowledge on wrestling.
I have, you know.
That's poor, lad.
Just not a fan, I'm afraid.
No, why are you not a fan?
I've watched it a couple of times and I do enjoy it, but I've just never got really invested in it, which is weird because I have enjoyed watching it before because it is really entertaining. But I've just never really fully got into it. And I've got loads of mates who, you know, if they listen to this, they'll agree. You know, I've just got shit knowledge.
Not awesome it. Funny really. Enough, I like to bring this as a total aside from Sunderland stuff. I watched it when I was a kid, then I stopped watching it, and then I started watching it again when I was 13. And then I made it a dream to go to WrestleMania. And then I did it, WrestleMania 30.
Oh, nice.
I went to WrestleMania 30.
Yeah.
Won my Undertaker lost his streak. And I've never watched it ever since.
Really?
Well, because I'd sort of always said that was one thing I wanted to do, and then I did it, and then I was like, well, my wrestling...
That was like the pinnacle now. It's just,
I've always wondered as well, like, if Sunderland won the Premier League and the Champions League, like, I don't know it sounds silly, but you've achieved. Like, as a fan, you can't do anymore.
You just wouldn't go and watch him anymore.
Yes, I know you would. But it's funny because once you've achieved that high of the high, then, like, you know, we have nothing to ever complain about.
To be honest, like, that must be almost like what it's like supporting Celtic. That's what I'd imagine what it would be like, because you know you're going to win all the domestic trophies, and then you're never going to get too far in Europe. Like, literally qualifying for the Champions League is the pinnacle. Obviously, you get there, you know, get knocked out against some really good teams, and it's just like, well, let's go back to playing like Hamilton.
But if Celtic get knocked out the qualifiers, like, their season at that point is just pointless.
Yeah.
There's no point. Oh, they beat Rangers a few times, but even then though, them derby wins must feel like proper like shit, because if you, like, I know we did 6 in a row, but our 6 in a row was because we were crap, right? And they were like, Newcastle are always up and down, they always are.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time we were never the favourite.
No.
And when we got that 6 in a row, it was a bit different. But for them, like, they're always expected to win. Like, if Celtic beat Rangers, they cannot be going to their Rangers supporting mates to be like, we're hey, because you're like, we're hey, you relegated one to the 3rd tier. Like, there's no comparison. Yeah. Like, it's got to feel a bit different. Whereas if Rangers beat Celtic, it must feel unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've got a mate who's a big Rangers fan, and he was just like, it's the gulf in like finances.
Yeah,
it's just like, you know, nobody can even come close to what Celtic have got. So it's like every season just going to be the same for, well, you know,
until Gerrard's a good appointment.
Yeah, I mean, I think an achievement for them next season will just be to probably beat Celtic, I think, and finish second.
I think
maybe try
finish
and win
3rd this year, so I think they do need to try and finish second. Yeah. I think the key for Rangers is like their academy's been decimated and everything. Like, they need to properly, the club's back sort of where it should be, not obviously fully, but they need to rebuild it though.
Yeah.
The heart of it's like gone.
Yeah.
I think they've got that ownership needs sorted. Like, if Mike Ashley sells Newcastle, I think he'd be an ideal Rangers owner.
Yeah.
Like, as long as he doesn't try and rename Ibrox. But then again, Ibrox is a proper classical stadium in it, and St James's Park shit, so can't blame him for wanting to change it to Sports Direct Arena.
Nah, you can't really.
No. And to be honest, I'm annoyed that they changed it back. Like, I'm a traditionalist, me. I think, like, don't change names of grounds. So when they initially did it, I was annoyed, obviously. But then when they changed it back, I was like, well, I've accepted it now. It's the Sports Direct Arena. And to be honest, it always will be for me.
It just sounds naff, doesn't it? It's great.
It's a terrible name, isn't it? I don't really. I actually think, like, changing the traditional grounds, which I will put St James's Park in there, like, it's just a stupid idea.
Yeah,
don't do it. I can forgive the stadium, like, because it's new, and to be honest, the name's a bit shit. Yeah. But St James's Park, I wouldn't. Like, if it was Roker Park, I would be annoyed if they changed it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right, does it, when it's like a classic ground?
Alright, so basically, you can name 3 wrestlers anyway. Back to the point.
Yeah,
about 3. That's Triple H.
Yeah, look, you're going to name them.
Shawn Michaels.
You're going to name them, and I'm going to know them down, and it's just going to get more annoying. I'm going to feel
the Big Show. You must remember the Big Show.
Yeah.
John Cena. You forgot him. He's the biggest one.
I know.
God, he does the "You Can't See Me." Just stupid wrestling move. It's fine. I was wondering that. Do you know, like, the people's elbow? You know what the people's elbow is?
Yeah.
So he does, like, he runs across the ropes, comes back, and then he elbows him.
Yeah.
And then he pins him and he wins. It was like an elbow to the chest. Like, I could take that and I would be able to kick out of a pin, real or fake. So I don't know why The Rock thinks he can beat the Undertaker with the people's elbow. That's just stupid. Right. SCFC North Yorkshire asks, are we all excited about I'll start again. Are we all as excited about next season as I am?
I'm really excited.
But I don't know how excited he is, actually.
No.
Because he could be, you know, having 0 amounts of excitement and just be like, you know, could just...
Yeah, and any little excitement is more than what he's feeling.
Yeah, so. Could be. Obviously, I think he probably is excited, though, because, I mean, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
I don't know if he represent, like, all of North Yorkshire, I wonder.
It's quite a big area.
Yeah.
For one man's opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind it.
No, it's
a curious debate, actually. Where do you lie on people being anonymous on Twitter? Not that I'm picking on SCFC North Yorkshire, because he's a good contributor to Roker Report and he's sponsored the podcast. Like, I love you, SCFC North Yorkshire. It's just a side debate.
Yeah.
Anonymity on Twitter, yay or nay?
I don't know, really. It's a weird one, because obviously I think it's not always necessary. I think, like, I can get why some people would do it, but other ones just like...
Some people, it's like jobs and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I know a few people who don't put it on because they've got a job that means that the stuff on social media kind of would affect it because they represent them. But I think, in general, people put themselves private just so they can say things and not think it's going to come back to them.
Yeah,
that's how I interpret it.
Yeah, that's probably the main reason. Yeah, just so they feel a bit more protective.
But ultimately, I don't really care that much. Just thought it's an interesting debate.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't really affect me too much.
No, not really. As for the question, I am pretty excited, although I want to see some new players come in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds like things are starting to. Obviously, you've got our first
first
player in
signing.
the door of me.
Ozturk, I think his name is.
Yeah.
I'll not pretend to know anything about him, though he did score a screamer against Hibs once.
Yeah, I think that's probably everybody's claims. Oh, I know he did that, but no, it's good just to get players in through the door now, because obviously we've got the new ownership, new manager, and then it was just good to get some new playing staff in and getting. Basically, we just want to be ready for next season as soon as possible, really, so everybody can gel and get working and getting us moving in the right direction.
We must be back in training.
Yeah, I think pre-season's
tomorrow.
I think the 26th rings a bell. So
26th rings a bell. Must be giving them the Monday. Must have today off just to come to terms. Do you think footballers have that dread that we used to get at the end of the 6 weeks holidays? Do you think they have them few weeks off and then they come in and they're like, the wife is like, I really don't want to go back? Or do you think because they're footballers they're not bothered?
I mean, if you're getting paid to play football, you should be ecstatic.
But they are humans at the end of the day, and going back to work after you've had maybe a month off.
You've got to, especially going back to I know obviously they probably don't go full into training. I probably have light training to start off with and everything, but it's got to. They must feel a bit lethargic to start with, because it's just I've been off for this long, and it's I haven't really. Well, I'd assume they probably keep fit in their own way in their own time, but yeah, it's got to it's got to make them feel a bit.
I know in American sports, a lot of them sort of do their own pre-season sort of training, so they'll work on things over the summer.
Yeah.
But then they get longer off seasons than what we do. So
true.
I just think if you play the full season, you probably do just want 3 weeks where you don't have to run.
Yeah.
Probably letting things like blisters heal on that.
Yeah, because
you don't think about them little things.
No, it's because you just think you always think of them they're invincible, unless they get an injury, which you see, just they're fine.
Yeah. Okay. Ryan asks, League One and the World Cup coming home? Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, both.
What
would you rather?
It would be class for the World Cup to come home, but then it's the club against country debate.
Well, go on. Really. Where do you sit? I know where I sit. I'll answer after you. I think I've already done it on this podcast before.
Club.
Yeah, I'm club.
Yeah, I mean it's great to see. I love supporting England, and I love watching us do well. But then it's just they're not your players.
Yeah, it's their second team, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. They're English. I'm English. I am English.
Definitely English.
And then it's just you go back and then because it's funny because when you talk about your team, you can say stuff about your players, whereas if somebody was to ask what do you know about Kieran Trippier and that and all the things he's done, it's just I could tell you where he's been, but I couldn't tell you all these.
No, exactly what to expect.
How well he's played in these games and that. But for Sunderland, it's just it's just great to be able to talk about your own players.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be great if obviously World Cup came back, but I'd take us getting knocked out the World Cup early if it meant that we were gonna walk League One. And just smash everyone and just have a great time.
Too, it's the World Cup and stuff comes every 4 years, but club. I mean, that's the thing that you worry about on a
because I mean, it's
Saturday night.
What World Cup finishes about 16th, 15th of July.
Yeah.
Football season starts again 3 weeks after that. As soon as the World Cup finishes, it's just gonna be right.
Yes, football.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. It's the best. Having this, I hate last summer. Especially because we got relegated. We had such a depressing season, and then you finish in May, and then you're not back till
there's no tournament.
August. Yeah. You've got absolutely nothing to do. You twiddle your thumbs, you check transfer news and gossip, and then when you fall into these lower levels, like what we are now, the transfer gossip, and that's just nowhere near as much because the press don't really want to cover you anymore. That much.
There's just not really any money thrown around, is there? It's just he's out of contract, so we'll have him for nothing.
Yeah.
Or we'll have him on a season-long loan or something.
Yeah, there's nothing too exciting. No. Okay, and Andrew Ritz. Oh, this one's a bit more of a serious question. We've not really done anything serious yet. So he asks, Andrew Ritson, that is, how do you feel about statements in the press about Donald having to get loans to support the club after only a month in charge? I
mean, I guess you can see it as concerning, but then again, you've got to think of the level which he's come from of ownership. Like, you know, I don't think, yeah, obviously having to get loans in, yeah, that's probably, it doesn't sound great, but you know, it doesn't always have to be that bad. Because if you think of the sort of the levels he'll have been working with at Eastleigh compared to now, I mean, yeah, I know obviously we're in the 3rd division now, but we're still at obviously a much bigger club than what he's worked with before.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so I think it's probably been made out to seem more negative than what it is, but I think it's just sort of part and parcel really of coming into a much bigger club with a bigger structure, and ultimately there's going to be more cost, which, you know, there's going to be, you know, as it's been well documented, there's going to be a drop in sort of income and revenue and stuff like that. So yeah, there's going to be shortfalls which have to be made up for. So I don't think it's necessarily negative. It's just, you know, as long as it doesn't happen again, like a year down the line.
So he hasn't actually taken the loan yet.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there's things that, I mean, I like reading into the statement that was made. I think the key thing from it is the loan hasn't been taken yet.
No.
And I think people need to remember that. And I think too, you don't know sort of what the positioning is with him, Ellis, Short, you know, what exactly is going on. And it's, to be honest, it's an ask for anybody to just throw in £8 million their own money for a cost they were never expecting, which is what's happened. So I just think, you know, if it happens, the fact is the loan will probably be over a period of time and it'll probably not even affect, you know, much. I mean, there's a deficit of like 20 odd million on transfers and that.
Yeah.
It's unreasonable to expect anybody to just wipe it off. So,
especially now that we're in the 3rd tier, because obviously, you know, 20 million's a decent amount of money to any football club, but to a League One club, it's massive.
Yeah, it is. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. I mean, you know, be worried if, you know, in a year's time it's obvious that there's not money and stuff. Yeah, but we're at the early stages of the ownership, and you know, the fact of the matter is, you know, it's not happened. So
no,
worry about it when it's actually news. At the minute, it was a story where they said that the club was considering it.
Yeah, when say like if the official, like if the club releases a statement or anything, then I think that's the point when you can be getting worried. But it just sounds like it's almost like scaremongering at the minute. I think, in the papers.
Andrew Ritson asks, I forgot to put this one in. No, it wasn't Andrew Ritson, he was the last one. Ian Hinmarch asks, Will Connor, spelt wrong with an E, still remember us SCFC fans when he's bumbling his way through interviews on Sky Sports? Probably. I mean, I would still be a Sunderland fan. I would hope that I was doing more than bumbling my way through interviews on Sky Sports.
Yes.
To be honest, I don't really see myself as a Sky Sports journalist.
No, would you not fancy that?
Oh, I'll take it. I mean, I would be Keith Downey, happy days, but I don't know. It's not where I see myself. Very comfortable where I am at the minute.
Yeah.
Just be Roker Rapport forever.
Yeah, and your Seattle Sounders shirt. I've got to give it a mention because it's a
nice shirt.
Yeah, it's 2 shades of green.
I would say that was like blue, actually. I don't know.
No, it's a very... Take a picture of it, get people to decide.
Yeah, to decide what's going on.
Is this 2 shades of green?
It's a nice top.
It is nice, yeah.
Yeah. I'm also wearing a New York Giants hat.
Yeah. See, he moans about me being Irish. He's practically American, so...
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I did live there.
You lived there?
Yeah, I used to live in America. I'm not actually bullshitting, yeah, I did.
Oh.
So,
you know.
You never knew. I used to live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Nice.
Yeah. I've actually got a funny story, actually. In fact, I'll tell it now. So,
go on then.
I was there when I did a year of uni there. So I suppose when I say lived there, loosely.
I'd still, yeah. I'd say I lived in Germany because I was there for 6 months with uni. So
well, I lived there for so that's twice as much. Basically a resident. So second week there. So I lived in this massive high-rise building, and obviously drinking age there is 21. It's strict as well. More people interested in like weed and that than what they are in our casual bevies. So we'll have a house party in. I think it was my flat. Our floor was essentially filled with English people who were doing the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we were all, you know, I'm not necessarily a big drinker, but we all liked to drink. So I had a party second week there. I had a party first week and that went fine. Second week we had the same thing, and think things got maybe a bit too loud. And we're gonna knock at the door about 1 o'clock in the morning. It's the police. It's the Rozzers.
The Rozzers.
The Rozzers are there. The feds are there. So obviously we're all shitting on because we didn't think we were really that harsh on it.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're like, well, you know, deportation and that, you know, and if you break the law, you break the law, don't you? So the Rozzers come in and the raid, like, properly raid the flat. I think they thought drugs were going on.
Yeah.
There was only drink. So what happened was they knocked on the door, and we answered it like, hello, we are just having a casual evening with
nice and sophisticated
cups of tea and Coca-Cola. What it brings you to our humble abode. But basically, I had a crate of Sam Adams. I don't know if I think it's a Boston beer.
Yeah.
It's like dirt cheap.
Yeah.
I had a crate of Sam Adams, and I was the only one whose drink wasn't in the kitchen. It was under the table.
Yeah.
So the police walked in and then caught a glimpse of my Sam Adams when we were like, no, we're not drinking. So at that point, they were like, well, these are Billy bullshitters, aren't they? Come in, raid literally everything upside down, whole flat, which wasn't great. So police find the drink. So they take all our names. They don't arrest or anything, nothing like that. Take all our names, and then they're like, right, okay, we've passed them on to the university. Right. So I shit them on. We're like, fucking hell, I'm mad. Then I told my mum, and I was like, oh, and she's like, you're such an idiot. I was like, yeah, you know what, I am an idiot. Then I get the next day, I get an email being like, right, you need to come see. So mine was the Dean of Arts and Humanities, because I was doing history, but I actually worked in the Dean's office. So I got a job over there as well to go with it. Yeah. So I worked in the Dean's office, and the Dean, to be fair to him, was a swell bloke. So the Dean meets me. He's like, oh, I know you're British in the drinking age, but you know, we've got rules here, and you'll have to go see counselling people and stuff, because you know, we don't have a zero tolerance on it. I was like, right, okay. So I had this meeting, a counselling meeting. It was like 2 weeks later or something, and I goes in and I walks in, and then there's me, the chairs are in a circle. There's 10 alcoholics around. 10 alcoholics around, and then I walk in and they're like, hey y'all, welcome, sit down, you know, make yourself comfortable, you know, we're all friends here. And I'm like, oh no.
Was it proper like, hi, my name's
Connor? And he was like, y'all are going to introduce ourselves, so can you just tell me a wee bit about yourself? And I was like, alright, well, I'm Connor, I'm from Newcastle in England. And he was like, y'all from London? And I'm like, no, I'm from...
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm from... well, I'm from Blythe, Northumberland, but you know, you'll probably know Newcastle. Yeah. He's like, so London. It's like, London's not a country. I was like, no, man.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, he was a thicko. So we'll go around. He's like, right, well, you know, welcome. It's a 12-step program. I was like, oh, fuck, 12 step. Right. So I was like, oh, I can't believe this. And then he was like, so you know, we're gonna go around. You know, tell us, you know, what brought you here. So the lassie sitting next to me, he's like, to be honest, this is probably confidential. Actually, I'm not saying her name. Who cares? She was like, oh, you know, she was saying the story. I fell out with my boyfriend, and I'd had a drink, and I wanted to go home. So I drove home. I drunk drove, and I ran somebody over, and I ran away. And I was like, what? It's like, I've got a problem, you know, this has happened before. And I'm like, what? It's like, she's hit and run. And they come out to me and they're like, oh, so what are you here for? I was like, well, I'm Connor. And I actually said, I'm Connor and I am not an alcoholic. And then the guy went, the first step is acceptance. I'm like, oh man. So he comes to us, he asked us, you know, he's like, so what are you here for? And I was like, well, to be honest, we're having a bit of a party, and the police came and we just had some cans and whatnot, and now I'm here. And he was like, okay, so will you go through, you know, write down what my regular drinking allowance in a week and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, to be honest, I'm not really that big of a drinker. So it comes through, and he's trying to make us admit that I'm an alcoholic, and that's the first step. And he was like, this is going to be a long process. And I was like, right, okay. So did the first step, I admitted it. And then I had 3 more sessions, I think, before I get cleared. And I had to fill in a chart of the things I'd drunk and all that sort of stuff, and urine samples and all that crap. Yeah. And then, essentially, I'm now a recovered alcoholic without ever being an alcoholic.
You must be proud.
It'll be on my record. So yeah, there's a story that nobody would know about me.
Yeah, that's quite. I mean, was it interesting that you lived in America? There's more to it.
It's far more to it. So yeah, that took about 5 minutes. So it's a good story. It's a sort of story that I tell people because I think it is quite a funny story.
It is really, yeah.
I mean, it's just the fact is, I think if you know me as well, because obviously people who listen to this won't necessarily know me, but I am not one to be like a drinker or even necessarily a partier. I mean, the people who I lived with over there were like, you know, taking drugs that I'd never even heard of. Like, such as my naivety on the matter.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't just smoking weed, they were taking like acid and stuff, and I used to come in. I hope one of them is actually listening to this, it would be quite funny. I remember coming in once and they were looking, we used to live in a skyscraper. Well, not a skyscraper, a tall building. And opposite was like a hospital. It's actually where, do you ever watch The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Do you know Grady Hospital on The Walking Dead? When they go to the hospital in Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's the hospital that used to be opposite where I lived.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So they used to just walk there and a helicopter used to fly in and out. And I remember coming in once, probably about 10 o'clock or something at night. And it was just like, man, like the colours. And I'm just like, it's like dark. What the hell are you looking at? And I was like, oh, right, I can see what's happening here. So yeah, that's my few.
You were wise to it.
Yeah. I was like, right, I'm going to bed, right. Anyway, so that's that. That was just a random aside. So what was that question? We still remember us SCFC fans.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it recovered alcohol? I don't have a badge or anything. I'm sure you meant to get a badge or something.
Do you get a badge?
You meant to have like a mate or something that meant to stop you from drinking if I have the age. I don't have one.
Just advertise. Just we want to be the mate to stop us drinking a lot.
I suppose. Okay, so there's only a few questions left, so I'm done with that. Daz asks, how much realistically do you think we need to spend to have a seriously good go of instant promotion this season? To be honest, I think you can get away with almost not spending as free agents and all that sort of crap. I mean, I was a bit disappointed, like Jack Baldwin. I really rate him, and the fact is if he's available for under like $250,000, I'm like, I'll take him.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Pay like 800 grand for him on FIFA, so I mean, I'm not messing about with 200k. Snap your hands off.
It's nothing, is it?
And then aside from that, free agents, I think you can get away with free agents.
Yeah, but you don't. You know, you really don't need like a war chest in League One. You know, if you have like, as I said, even a couple of £1 million, and you're going to be, if you spend on the right players, you're going to be like, top 6, no problem, really. So yeah, I'd say I couldn't even give a figure, I don't think, because as you said, you just don't need. You don't need a lot of money really to do well in this league, I don't think.
No, I agree. I think to have a good go. I mean, I actually looked the other day at like what Norwich spent when they went down. I looked at Southampton as well, and they don't really spend money. You know, I think Norwich spent 600 grand. I think Southampton spent 500. And it's just like, you know, why do we need to go out? The pull for Sunderland is they'll have a bigger wage budget and they're the biggest team in the league, and that'll be why players sign for it. I mean, it's pointless going out and spending money because at this level, sort of players are interchangeable. Like you can. There's not like in the Premier League. I think about it like Darren Bent. So when we signed him for 16 million, he was probably the only pure goal scorer on the market who could score at that level. Who you know could. Whereas in League One, there's probably 30 guys you could look at and go like, they're going to score 20 goals in this league. I know it's hard to get 20 goal scorers, but you know what I mean. You can find goal scorers at this level. It's not like you have to go out and if one's under contract and nobody wants to sell, it's pointless to blow them out of the water. So
you don't have to like open the checkbook and like throw money at anybody really who's going to get goals. But that shouldn't be a problem, really.
I agree. So my answer to that is probably, as Stuart Donald said, about 14 million on wages, and then any transfer fees. I'd be shocked if they spent more than a couple of million.
Yeah, I think no more than 5. I think 5 would be the maximum.
If you spend 5 though, you've got to have players that are going to be there like long term. Who's going to be?
Yeah, I think with that amount of money, we can't be buying players who are just going to be sticking around in League One, and then we suddenly realise, we spent like, say, if we spend like £1 million on someone, then we think like they're actually not going to be that good in the Championship. It's going to be a bit of a waste of money. If a
special player comes on the market that for some reason desperately wants to come to Sunderland and, you know, he's a Championship player, then yeah, pay it, but how many of them are going to come up? The ones that they need to, I think, speak to and sort of convince is like McGeady. McGeady at this level would be frightening.
Yeah.
You know, he is you can see in the Championship last year, he had his flaws, don't get us wrong. He defensively was poor, and his final ball sometimes brilliant and sometimes terrible, but at this level, he's going to be class.
Yeah.
And I think, remember playing like League Cup games and stuff against Bury last season? I know they were the worst team in League One, but we're probably going to be more than good enough. Even the players we've got who we think are rubbish are probably going to be a cut above at this level. It's a big jump. That's what Danny Collins a while ago, and he said jumping from the Premier League to the Championship is easier than jumping from Championship to League One. He's like, the Championship League One's the biggest gulf in football, because you're going from teams that are in the Championship, teams at the top are spending like Premier League teams, whereas in League One, you're talking about teams that could essentially have like non-league budgets. Yeah. So it's an interesting debate, but I think they've got to win the league, and my expectation is they'll win the league. Yeah. And that's what I think any fan who expects less, I know it'd be realistic playoffs and stuff, but win the league. They've got to win the league. They've got the biggest budget in there, and they've got to do it. So I think anything less than that's a failure. Even if they finish second, that's obviously I would take it right now, but they should be winning the league. Yeah,
I can't really argue with that, because as you said, we're just going to have so much more money than anybody else in the league. On paper, it shouldn't be hard for us to win the league. It's a case of getting the right players in now, really.
And Joe Hughes asks, are our current signing stroke linked players of sufficient calibre to win League One?
I'd say so. There's nobody who's been linked with where I've just thought, don't really, because there's Lyle Taylor, he's Wimbledon, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what I mean, okay, they didn't do great last season, but he knows what it's like to play in League One. He's been around all the the smaller grounds, the tough places to visit and that. So I mean, if players like him want to come, then it'd be great, really. I think it'd be fantastic.
I've just got up here, I was telling you before about Norwich.
Yeah.
So the players' names are sort of irrelevant, but it's where they've signed them from. So I'm going to go through the places they've signed players. So Swansea City, Exeter, Hartlepool, Melbourne Victory, Motherwell, Luton, Preston, Crystal Palace, Shrewsbury, Unattached, Peterborough, Swindon, Millwall, Stockport. So they, that year, absolutely walked the league. Now, obviously, that is a long time ago, but the point I'm trying to make is, like, you don't... They're the sort of levels of players that we should be expecting to sign.
Yeah.
And most of them there are League One clubs, League Two clubs, a couple of probably non-leagues at the time, and there's Swansea, who I think would have been maybe just in the Premier League, but would be a youngster signing Owen Tudor-Jones.
Yeah.
So you look at them sort of things. I mean, their main man that year, Grant Holt, Shrewsbury Town, 500,000. And that's... He was their star signing that year.
I mean, they probably would have been in League Two that season, Shrewsbury. So, or maybe League One, actually.
Who was that other big teams? I'll have a look at Blackburn last year.
Yeah, I know they didn't. They spent barely anything.
They kept that squad together, though, didn't they? Current season, let's have a look.
So they kept hold of Danny Graham, and lo and behold, he was smashing them in the League One.
So they bought Motherwell. They got a Manchester United youngster, Bradley Dack, who was that big signing at 750,000. So that's not even that much.
Nah.
QPR, Rotherham, Cardiff, Reading, free agent, Shrewsbury, free agent, and then signing from Liverpool on deadline day.
Yeah. So you just don't need, like...
You don't need to go out. I mean, they spent roughly, let's say, 1.25 million on here, and I don't see a reason why we should have to go above and beyond that.
No.
So, I think people are expecting, which is not going to be signing Championship players for League One.
No, I think, a lot of people need to keep it realistic, really, because it's, as you said, like, we're going to be the biggest club in League One, but we are still a League One club, and before we've kicked the ball, it's going to be hard to convince players who would be better off in the Championship to come to us, because, we might only be there in one season, but, if we don't go straight up, then all those players are going to be saying, well, no, why have I come here? I could have had a easy season in the Championship rather than slogging it in League One.
Yeah, I just think people need to have a perspective on it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the final question is from Sean.
It's a good name.
That was his double name, Sean. Wasn't a typing error. How many players do you think we need to sign this summer?
I'd say probably go for about a dozen. I think
I thought about 15, but obviously it depends who leaves, because once the foreign lads go, it's Stuart Donald comes, so Paddy, Kazri, Ndong, Kone, Barini will be gone, whoever else, you know the players I'm talking about without going through them all. Once the ones you expect to leave, then you'll have a greater idea of what needs to come and what goes out, because I mean the fact is they're not gonna spend while they've got them players on their wages, because why would you? Like, at the end of the day, Didier Ndong, for example, doesn't leave, then why would you be paying him probably 30 grand a week to not play? Like, you may as well play him at that point. So I just think they're gonna have to get rid. I think selling before buy, it's not necessarily true, but they do need to sell.
Yeah, because I mean we've got a lot of we're wasting a lot of money, like a lot of good money, on wages of players who aren't going to play for us next season. So as you said, like, just have to get them out as soon as possible, really, just so we can start bringing in players who want to be there.
Oh, I'm just going to have to stop you because we've signed a player.
Have we?
John McLaughlin from the Scotland keeper.
Yeah, it's
just literally went through 10 minutes ago.
He's recently got a call up, didn't he, to the Scotland squad?
3 agents, been at Hearts.
Oh, nice.
He's a safe pair of hands. That's a breath of fresh air. Jack Ross's first thing. So first player in, second player in.
Yeah.
Another one from Hearts.
I think we needed a goalkeeper. Like, desperately,
yes.
Because obviously
it looks a smart signing on paper, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think a player who's playing regular SPL football, international play, recent international, it just seems silly to not.
Yeah. I mean,
2-year deal.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be. I can't see him not being number one.
No, he's been brought in as number one. Yeah, 100%.
With obviously we've got Roker still there, isn't he? He'll be Reuter. I can never say
Steele's gone.
Yeah.
Sturridge will be in the wings. Obviously, league camps. They're Cardiff somehow still.
Yeah, without Steele and Camp are Premier League goalkeepers. Yeah, we're in League One. They've helped send us down to League One.
I know, they're in the Prem.
I know.
Right. I think that pretty much sums it. We've ran pretty much over what I was expecting to do today, actually, considering it was just the two of them. So, follow on Facebook, Twitter. What are you on Twitter?
I am Paddy Hollis 123.
Oh, can you not just get Paddy Hollis?
No, somebody already nabbed it.
Damn Irishman.
Some loser called Paddy Hollis already beat me to it.
The leprechaun called Paddy Hollis stole your gamer tag user name. Alright, okay, well, follow on Instagram, YouTube videos. I don't know what's happening with YouTube at the minute because I've just been hella busy. So, hopefully we'll get Stuart Donald back on within the next month. Fingers crossed.
Should be good, yeah.
Yeah. And thanks for listening.
Thanks a lot.